So I'll also show you a check for change concept. Okay, let me delete this mapping. I don't need it, right? In the pipeline, the target load plan, which we don't need it. Let me delete that now. So in this mapping, what we were doing the plain insert cells update. Like even though there are no updates, we are just normally updating the data, right guys? Validate. So see here, everything went to the insert now. Now when I reload them again, it goes to the update part. See, it goes to the update part. So there is nothing changed. So still, why it should not go to the update part sometimes because of the performance issues. So to avoid that, what can we do is, you're able to see the desktop, right?
Yeah.
Okay, to avoid that, what can we do is, how do you know whether there is an update present or not? By comparing all the source records to the target records. Am I right?
Yeah.
So for that, what should we do? We should get, what should we do? We should get everything from the source. What all we should get? What are we doing here? Till, let me see. Let me come back. Create date time, update date time. We don't compare them. Till department ID we have to check, right?
Yeah.
Till the department ID, right? So let us give the return ports department till department ID here. First name, last name, email, phone number, hire date, job ID, salary, commission PCT, manager ID, and department ID. So what are all these return ports? These are lookups return ports, right? Right?
Output return ports. Output ports.
Yeah. The output ports. Those are coming from the lookup, right? The target ports, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So we already have the employee ID. So we need to take the other things, right? Other things and rename it as lookup, right? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we need to have those fields present in order to compare, right? Otherwise, how can we compare? We can't compare them. So now move all these columns to the top. Okay. So now everything is present on the top. And now I'll select all these columns and drag them to the router. And again move all these lookup columns to the top. Okay? So now in the router we have to write a condition. What condition? The same as usual, we'll leave it. Is null of employee ID is insert. Is null of employee ID means insert, right?
Yeah.
So when should we do update? Not is null of employee ID and when should we do update? And
If it's the same, so
lookup of employee first name is not equal to source first name, right?
yeah.
Am I right? And
Look about the last name. Not equal to.
then only we have to do update, right? So that is how we do that. This is called as check for change. So this can be done in a number of ways. This is only a one way to do. We can compare this in expression. You can have many n number of ideas to do that.
So, can you give example of one as an alternative way?
The expression you can do same comparison in the expression using the variable quotes.
Okay.
In the expression you can use, think about that logic. In the expression you can do that with the variable quotes, you can do that. By comparing this logic you can write in expression, right? Variable quote. There is the flags. The flag means either 1 or 0. Lookup of email is not equal to email and lookup of phone number is not equal to phone number and hire state is not equal to.
But Manoj, over here, since we are including the AND condition, even if there is a change in single one, but no change
We
in.
should put R. That we should put R here. That's right. You are right.
Yeah.
We should put R here. Okay. That's way you'll come to know whether it is right or wrong when you do debugging, right? If you do your unit testing, right, you will come to know that time. Oh, this is wrong. We should put R. That is all right. Okay. So now let us refresh the map and start the task. See, nothing got updated, right? So for that I will show you. I'll update one record in the target table and I will rerun the mapping. Okay. Let us update a one record in the mapping in the table and rerun the mapping. Update set first name equal to where right? Okay, commit. So now when I run this, what should it do? It should update only one record, right? As per our logic. Am I right?
Yeah.
So when we run this task, only one record got updated. So what happens with this? It avoids unnecessary updating of the columns, right? So that is how we do the check for change in SCD type 1. So even in SCD type 1 or SCD type 2, the check for changing is same. Okay? There is nothing difference in the check for change. So now I will show you how to create a SCD type 2. Okay? SCD type 2. So in SCD type 2, I told you, right, even the update record is an insert, right? Right? And what will we do? We ended the old record, right? See, if for example the employee ID first name changed from Steven to Manoj, okay? So first insert there will be 100 with the Steven. For the second insert there will be 100 with Manoj. And this particular record will be end dated. When will be end dated? When that particular new record is changed to Manoj, that day the old record will be end dated, right? Means it is not a valid record, right? So what are valid records? Select star from table where end date is null, right? Obviously when the end date is null, those are the valid records, right?
Yeah.
So if we have 200 in the same table, will our primary key allows that column to insert into the table?
No.
So for that reason, we should have a surrogate key. Surrogate key is user generated key, which we give a table specific key and we generate a key for that table. Got it? Huh? So there will be a unique key. So for that, I'm gonna create a new table, employees underscore work. I will rename it. Okay. Employees underscore work, rename underscore SCD2. Okay. Finish. And I will add a new column here on the top. What column will I add here? Sequence. Okay. Number. Okay, 10, let it be. And it is a key. So I will remove the other columns. I don't need, this will be a direct load, okay? I will remove department name, location ID, because we already did that with unconnected lookups. Now I don't want to do that. So let us go with the manager ID, create date time and end date time. There won't be update date time. Okay? So end date. So now go to the source, mapping, create m underscore emp underscore scd2, okay, t underscore I underscore iu, insert up. So take the employees table which is in the HR schema, drag it to the mapping, take an expression, here, and next what should we do? We should have a target based lookup, right? So there is no lookup, right? Created table created in the target. So let me create this table. Select a table, create primary key, generate SQL file, edit SQL file, copy copy a SQL file, put it in the notepad. Okay. So now the table is created. So let us import the lookup again. Okay. So even we can have a, in SCD type 2, we need to have a check for change. So then only we can insert the data, right guys? We need to have a check for change mandatory, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, how do you know that record is changed? Right guys? Huh?
Yeah, man.
Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
We need to know that particular record is changed or not. So for that, what should we do? We should take the employee ID, compare it, and write a condition. So in underscore employee, based on the employee ID, what am I returning? I am returning a sequence ID. I am returning an employee ID. Based on the employee ID, I am returning an employee ID. I don't need the sequence ID because it is generated by us, right? So let us remove the input port and output port and all others other than create date time and date time we need, right? And in the condition, what condition should we put? Let me save it. Go to that transformation, create router, right? RTR underscore INS underscore UPT.
Manoj, can you just again explain what did you do with the query, because there was a little lag.
Query, I did not do anything with the query.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I'll do the query little later on. Okay?
Fine.
Right now, I'm giving here LKP underscore. Okay?
Okay.
Everybody home. Hi, how are you? Good.
So I need all the columns from the source, right? So now what is the condition we have to write here for the insert condition? There are two scenarios where we need to insert the record. When is null of
In employee ID.
lookup employee ID, right? Or
Or if it is updated.
or if it is updated means same conditions, right? Huh?
Yeah, Manoj.
So let me go to that other mapping and copy that one, okay? I don't want to write that.
Well, there is a little lag
Yeah, I'm going one moment. Let me, I think, it will come in a moment. I'm going to the other mapping. Is it okay now?
Yeah.
So this particular insert record is also an update, right? So there will be some mistakes, but we can fix it little later when we test it. So in here, I'm going to the groups or, right? What does this mean? If is null of employee ID, we should not get the employee ID, sorry, we should get the sequence ID. We should compare the employee ID and it should get the sequence ID. So then only we can identify. Let me drag the sequence ID here. We are comparing the employee ID with the employee ID and getting the sequence ID back. So based on that sequence ID in the group, I am determining whether it's an insert. When is it insert? When is null of lookup sequence, not just the sequence ID. I'm not giving it as a lookup. When it compares the employee ID, it doesn't bring the sequence ID, it's an insert. Or when not is null of sequence ID and this condition, right? If the sequence ID is not null, right, then only, if the sequence ID is not null, then we are comparing, right? If the sequence ID is not null, then we are comparing, right, guys?
Yeah.
If not is null of sequence ID and something is changed, right? If not is null of sequence ID and nothing is changed, it won't update, right? It won't insert, right? If this particular condition does not match, will it insert? No, right?
No.
One moment. Hello? Yes? Hello. So here is the logic. So now the update logic comes. This is insert. And what should we update? We should update the end date to null, right guys? End date to some X date. When should we update? When should we update that? Is null of, not is null of, lookup sequence ID. And something is changed, we should update it. This one. Copy and paste it here. Okay? So now it's time to take the update strategy transformation. Create update strategy UPD underscore UPD for updates, right? And let us go to the target table, copy the one instance and rename it as underscore INS. Okay? Copy it, paste it, and rename it as UPD, right? So what is our insert condition? Insert condition is here. So before the insert condition, we need to take an expression transformation. exp underscore INS. Okay? So let us take an expression here and take the employee ID, first name, last name till department. So we need to populate the sequence ID value for it, right? So now we are going to go with the sequence generator. Transformation create sequence generator. SEQ underscore GEN underscore EMT underscore SCD. So
Manoj, why did we take the default set? We should have taken the input set, right?
Yeah. Input set, sure. I thought that it is an input set. Then I scroll down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the sequence generator transformation will have two fields: next value, current value. So always the next value should be connected to the next transformation. Means whatever the sequence you are giving, you have to connect the next value. Okay. So in the sequence generator, always it should be reusable. Make it reusable. Or else, let us for now we'll keep it as normal, because this employee table will be updated by n number of people in the map, in a different map, right? So if everyone will have their own sequence generator, then it will generate a duplicate keys. If you use the reusable sequence generator, it will appear in the transformation. It will appear in the transformation. So now there is not in the transformation. Now make it reusable and click OK. See, it appears in the transformation. Now this particular reusable sequence generator can be used in other mappings where they populate the employee SCD table. Okay? So then it won't allow us to have the duplicate key. So now we can edit it. Once the transformation is made reusable, we can't make it non-reusable again. We have to delete and recreate it. So if you have to edit this transformation, you can edit only in the transformation developer. So that is the reusability. So now the start value is always 1, not 0. Increment by 1. This is the maximum value a sequence generator can generate. It cannot generate beyond this value. Okay? and the current value is 1. So number of cached values 1000 means it keeps the 1000 records in the cache and it generates the sequence numbers of that 1000. Say for example, if there are only 100 records coming from the source and I generated 1000 cached values, then what will happen? If there are 100 records, next time for the next load, when it processes, it will take 1000 plus 1. Say again there are only 100 records, so it will be 1100. For the next load, it will go to 2000. So that is the cached value. So you don't need to do much thing here. You just need to keep the start value, increment by 1 and current value. That's all. So now click OK and come here. You can see those changes reflected here. What did I do? 1. See, you can't edit this here. The reusable sequence data cannot be edited. Okay. Now we just connected it to the next valve, and then I have to give select all these things and map it to the target and add a date here, create date time, timestamp, date time, and output port, and add it as a session start time. Okay, now the update logic comes here and we just need to connect this create, and end date time will be null for insert records. Okay, so now take another expression here. And create it, done. And now we just need to update that particular sequence ID to end date, right? We don't need the other records. We just need to update the sequence ID to the end date, right? Sequence ID and employee ID based on not the lookups employee ID, right? Already present employee ID, we need to update the end date to null. So end date time. So the end date time will be populated as session start time. Now you just need to drag all these three in the update strategy and connect the sequence ID and connect the employee ID and connect the end date time to the target and use the DD underscore update. Okay. Now arrange all. That is our map. Now let me go to the target. Is it an update one? Yeah, update. So go to the session, create a session first. Go to the mapping, connection. So what is our source? HR, right? What is our target? Work. So this would be the dollar source, dollar target, right? Employee. This would be the dollar target. This would be the dollar source. Dollar target, right? Now go to the target, bulk normal, and it's an update one, so we just need to uncheck the insert and delete. And go to the next target and again bulk to normal. Just need to do check only insert one, remove the update and delete. And see whether the data driven option is checked there or not. Yeah, it's checked there. Now that is all we have to do. Go to the connected and drag it. So now just run it. So before doing that, I have to show you one more connection, one more query here. In the lookup, we have to query only for the end date equal to null records, right guys? Otherwise, there will be duplicate records, right? If there are 100, employee ID with the 100, then our comparison will be wrong. So we should only compare for the records whose end date is null, right? Where end date time is null, right? So let us run this query. Paste it. Refresh the mapping and run it. So if there are some mistakes, we have to fix them. So now 107 records got inserted. This is the first thing, right? So next when I rerun, so nothing got updated, right? Because there is nothing changed, right? So let us go to the target table and see. So these all are the records and end date is null, right, for this? Because these are valid records, right guys? So now I will change one record in the target. I am not changing in the source. Anything is changing, then we will change the target. So now updated the target table with Manoj. But what actually is in the source is changed and it is Steven, right? So now what should happen as per our requirement? There should be a new record inserted with 100 as Steven and the Manoj record should be end dated, right? So let us see whether our logic is working or not. If it doesn't work, then we have to fix it. So one record inserted, one record updated. That is what we need. But what did it do? We will see. See, one record it Manoj and it updated to end date. See, right? Now we have to see order by employee ID will do. Now there is other record, see, Steven inserted, right? So now I told you, right, when we run second time it changes to 1001. Understood? Number of cached values. So our logic is working, right? So this is how we implement SCD2. Now what are the valid records? No matter how many times you change, in A record will be, now you can easily track, okay, what is the difference between these both? Oh, Stephen. Now in case if I update again, email to Manoj, okay? It will annotate that Stephen record with an email as Stephen, and it will update again. See, 2001. See, I told you, right, number of cached values? The same thing. And Manoj email is annotated. See? And this is valid. So whatever the annotate, this is how we keep the valid records here. Understood? Hello?
Yeah, Manoj. So, Manoj, how many times you will be able to keep it,
As long as we need it. That is why SCD type is used.
Okay.
Even millions of times is update, you keep it. Okay? So that is how you do. So there is another way of doing this also, but it all depends upon, there are number of ways to do the same task, but this is the standard I am showing you. So this is SCD type 2. So you want me to send this SCD type 2 to you?
Yeah, it would be helpful, Manoj.
Okay, SCD type 2 and type 1, both I am sending again, because I don't think that other one you need. You need a type 2, right?
Yeah, type 2. Yeah.
Okay, type 2 I exported it to desktop, or what? Where did I export? Yeah. So what else is pending from our list? Can someone tell me?
Well, Manoj, you had told that real-time scenarios, and let me just check.
This is real-time scenarios only, these two things, SCD type 1, type 2.
Okay.
So the other thing is, I need to tell you union transformation and incremental thing, right? That is one of the real-time scenario, incremental update with the parameters and variables, right? One moment.
Yeah. We have change data capture is done. Mapping parameters and variables.
Yeah, parameters, that is one of the real-time scenario which we have to go through that. And
you have included normalizer also. So
yeah, normalizer also I have to show you. So in this, okay, union I have to show you, normalizer I have to show you, right? Maplet I would have to show you, mapping parameters and variables, right?
Yeah.
So these all performance tuning. The incremental loading will come under parameters and variables. Once we discuss parameters and variables, the incremental loading you will know that. Okay. So normalizing, denormalizing we discussed. Target load plan I showed to you. Constraint based loading is the same thing, like what we do, removing the duplicates. I will show you how to do that. There are some logics I can give you, like I will give you the mapping templates where I prepared it. So based on that, if you don't understand, let me know. So and error handling also I will tell you how to do the error handling. So there will be 3 more sessions we will be completing. So what I wanted to tell you is, you guys can go ahead and do the marketing, okay? You can start preparing the resumes, ask Ramesh to send some sample resumes, and you can start marketing. And tomorrow's session, I will discuss you about the parameters and variables and the incremental. Okay? Tomorrow we can wind up those. And another session we will show you the removing duplicates and the variable logic we discussed with the expression, and the error handling concept I will tell you. How do we need to error handle? Okay?
Yeah, well, and just I mean, during practicing, I noticed this. It was the tool was behaving a little strange. As in, I have created one folder and I've been practicing on it. But mapping in that folder, it's not able to generate the table. It shows that table view does not exist, though I have generated it. But if the same mapping, I use it in a different folder, it executes successfully. I didn't understand.
There's something is wrong. You might have done something wrong.
But is it related to the mapping or
Connections or something, the table name, the instance name might be wrong.
no? Because I cross-checked with. I cross-checked with Abhishek also. I tried to do the same mapping on
It should
Abhishek
not
series.
behave like that. If there is not something wrong, Informatica is a very standard and stabilized tool. So
Okay.
these small errors Informatica tool might not have. If you say some other error, might be there is a defect in Informatica tool. But I know those kinds of small errors Informatica is pretty stabilized. You might have did something wrong. So rather
Okay.
than going at the back of it, you already fixed
Uh-huh.
that issue. So just leave it.
Okay, okay. No, I mean, does it? I mean, I was asking because does it happen in like since you're working? Have you encountered
It happens
you know?
when those things happens. I just leave it and I'll go with a new one.
Okay, okay,
There are some things it happens, weird things, but if we run at the back of them debugging it, we might waste our time.
okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah, Manoj, thank you.
So all right. So probably tomorrow we'll have the session same time. So in case if I won't tell you because of this internet, I have to come to other place. My internet I already scheduled at my home. If it comes tomorrow, anyways we'll have the session. Day after tomorrow, I don't think we'll have. The next two sessions will be on Thursday and Friday. We'll wind up. Okay.
Okay, okay, fine.
Yeah. All right then. Practice this SCD type 1 and type 2. They are very, very important.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.